Savior draws nigh. Oh, who is the King that in glory draws near? The Lord God of hosts, King of glory is He. This great King of glory, oh, who can He be? The Lord God of hosts, King of glory is He. Well, thanks for tuning in to the instructional video here of Psalm 24. This video is just kind of how I approach arranging this particular psalm on a Sunday morning. I did arrange and record this psalm and a few others. I think it was in 2023. And since then, our church has been singing them, and other churches around the country and actually even around the world have been using some of these resources. And Psalm 24 has quickly become my personal favorite and kind of a staple here at my church. And I have a few friends that have used this in their church. And I think that the reason that this psalm in particular is so popular and people just love to sing it is because it's so messianic. We're triumphantly singing about this King of Glory. And who is this King of Glory? Well, we know it to be Jesus, and we're telling these ancient gates to lift themselves up, to lift up their heads, that the King of Glory may come through. And it's absolutely triumphant and beautiful to sing. And I think when our congregation sings this psalm, we sing louder than any other hymn or psalm that we might sing here on a Sunday morning. And so maybe it can be useful for you in your setting as a worship leader or music leader or just church musician in your church. I recorded this one in E, and that's actually what I lead it in on Sunday mornings. It's just a singable key. And I play in a D shape on the second fret. And this song also modulates on the last verse to F sharp. And so if you're playing in a D shape, capoed on the second fret, it's just a very easy transition to E there. And so if you're on acoustic, that's probably what you want to do. Otherwise, you might be playing some wonky bar chords. But let's jump into breaking this one down just a little bit. It does have a little riff or hook that's played on the intro, and in the recording, the electric guitar does an awesome job of playing that. My friend Matt Montgomery in Nashville tracked electric guitars for this one. He just did an awesome job. But on Sunday mornings, I never have an electric guitarist. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you're like me and you don't, just have your pianist play that part. It's super simple. It goes la 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 la, and then it repeats itself. And my pianists never have issues with playing parts like that. I do have that kind of written out in the lead sheet, and that makes it easy for my pianist to just pick it up and play. So that riff or hook happens at the intro, and it happens between each verse until we get to the last two verses, but I'll explain that. So all in on the intro to play that little riff there. And then verse 1, I have most instruments dip out. Drums and bass are both completely out of the mix in verse 1. Piano, I just have playing whole notes or diamonds. And then acoustic guitar, I'm not even playing full blown, but it is mostly acoustic in the first verse. So you're going to go, the earth and its riches abundantly stored, the world and its dwellers belong to the Lord. So you can kind of see I'm letting those chords just ring out, and then I might play a little transition here and there in the verse. But by the time you get to the second intro after verse 1, or second interlude I should say, after verse 1, whole band's back in, drums are coming in, bass is back. But still, I don't want kind of full-blown energy on verse 2 and even verse 3. So bass, play play bass. Don't do any like crazy runs or anything. Drums, just keep it simple, no crazy fills. Just to keep, give room for dynamic growth through the song. So band's back in for verse 2 and 3, and verse 2 and 3 are pretty much largely the same. I will say, if you have a second acoustic guitarist, one thing I'm really big on in leading in general is I never want to have two acoustic guitars play the same thing. So if I'm playing capoed on the 2nd fret in a D shape, I probably don't want my second acoustic guitarist to play it in that shape as well. And I have a few guitarists in my church who I'm kind of mentoring and developing acoustically, and so we're trying different stuff all the time just to give some variation. But I'll have my other guitarist play in E, and I'll give them a little bit of a different strumming pattern to play than I am. So in this one, I have like just a rhythmic acoustic in addition to the main acoustic. And so I'll have my second acoustic guitar player kind of play that pattern. And it adds some cool layers rhythmically and also acoustically there. So, but moving on then to verse 4, this is where we get some variation in the song. It goes completely different from the first 3 verses. And this is the first verse. There's 2 verses that talk about the King of Glory, and it tells the ancient gates to lift up their heads. And so this is kind of a triumphal build-up to the King of Glory coming in, and so that's kind of what I try to accomplish in the arrangement of this one. So verse 4 is just a walk-up, a driving walk-up through the verse. Da, 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 da. The great King of Glory to enter draws nigh. And so what I'll do on this verse is I'll play what I just played, kind of 8th notes, walking the ladder. I'll have the drums do an 8th note build on the snare and floor tom, and quarters in the kick. Piano, I have play just whole notes in the left hand, octaves, and then quarter notes in the right hand, just to continue to build it rhythmically. Bass is just doing what it does, just low notes, kind of whole notes, holding those out. So that's all of verse 4 is that walk up. It gets kind of big in the second half. I can't remember where. The second half of that verse 4, you're doing your build up. The second half, really pick up the energy. Who is the King that in glory draws near? Because you're working your way up to my favorite part of the song, the modulation to the F sharp. And there's no lead into this modulation. You finish verse 4 and you play the interlude and then right into that key change. And it always sounds so awesome to do congregationally. So you're going to go, oh, who is the King that in glory draws near? The Lord mighty, Lord of the battle is here. Interlude, and then right into the key change. Oh, gates, lift your heads, ancient doors, lift them high. The great King of Glory to enter draws nigh. And I played it at the beginning, you might remember that. But instrumentally, right when we hit that modulation, we're hitting that F sharp, or rather, what chord are we playing there? We're hitting a B. Oh, gates, lift your heads. Whole notes, hold them out. Let the congregation just pick up and carry that verse because it is so triumphant. It's so awesome. Between each of those chords, those whole notes, I have the drums just doing a little bit of a fill. So, just to kind of fill in some space there and to keep the energy up. I don't want the energy to die. I just want the voices and the, I don't know, just what we're singing to carry the energy forward. And then all the instruments come back in again on the second half of that verse. Oh, who is the King that in glory draws near? The Lord mighty, King of glory is He. And it repeats, this great King of glory. Mezzo piano here. Who can He be? The Lord God, King of glory is He. And then just let that F sharp kind of take you out. Let the vocals take you out of this one. And I do a little retard at the end. The very last, the last verse there, we do a to take it out. Over King of glory is He. And it's just, you don't have to do that, but it sounds kind of cool too. So that's basically it. You just let this one kind of ride out with the wind. No outro or anything. And yeah, that's kind of how I approach arranging this on a Sunday morning. Like I said, this one's quickly become a favorite of my congregation here and in my worship team too. So if it can be useful for you, let me know. Maybe leave a comment if you've done it at your church. There are some resources. You can go to SethJerniganMusic.com/sing the Psalms, and there are some resources for all the Psalms I've done so far. You can grab those. And yeah, thanks for watching.